Hi, I'm Avery Powell, online news editor for 4th Estate, and here with me today we have Pete Klein and Jordan Wilson, candidates for student body president and vice president. Thanks for joining me today, guys.
Thanks for having us, Avery.
So my first question for you all is just tell me a little bit about your platform.
Sure, yeah. So we are running on a heavy services-based platform. Jordan and I have had the opportunity this year working primarily with the University Services Department. And, Jordan and I realized that the everyday student is affected by services, whether it's IT, dining, housing concerns, facility concerns. Jordan and I are here for the everyday Mason experience, and that's what we hope our platform entails.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the week before spring break, I woke up and my Wi-Fi didn't work, so I couldn't print out a paper, and then was late for a midterm. So we are regular students, even in leadership roles, and so that's how we build our platform as to what would help the average everyday student.
Yeah, so talking about how student services, you all are advocating to not cut university services for students like dining, housing. How do you all plan to advocate for that?
Jordan and I have had unique experiences working on some of these boards, whether it's dining board, which we both currently sit on, whether it's the library advisory committee that we have both sat on, Jordan currently sits on, whether it's starting, the first ITU checkup meeting that we have once a month. Jordan and I have those relationships with the administration, and, to be frank, having just honest conversations with them about what the student expectations are and what we would like to see out of them, we believe it can be done.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Pete. Like he said, for example, I sit on the Student Library Advisory Committee, and they are partly in control of the new Fenwick edition. And so I went in and said, look, this is what the students want to see in this new space that we're all very excited about. And we've found that the administration is very responsive to the students' concerns. It's just that they need to hear it, and that's what Pete and I are running for.
Okay. Now, on the subject of dining, you all
Sure.
want to improve anytime dining,
Sure.
which has caused a lot of controversy.
Absolutely.
So what do you see as its weaknesses, strengths, and what do you hope to change?
Well, I think one of the weaknesses currently today is, not everyone's on a uniform platform. And when we were going through the transitional phase, that was a concern that we had. I had the opportunity, again, sitting on dining committee during the fall, when, that crisis, I guess, what you're speaking of, kind of came to fruition. And dining administration's great to talk to and work with. But, Jordan and I believe that one way that we could help fix this issue, or an issue that a lot of students have, is by opening a second 24/7 dining hall. It's a lot of people say they want it. A lot of people want it to happen. But Jordan and I have had the conversation that we need to have. And we know for a fact that it can happen next year. Or it could happen possibly spring, but definitely in the future.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just to echo Pete's sentiments, for dining, especially the anytime dining plan, if somebody says, we're going to get rid of it, they're not telling you the truth. It's here to stay. So how do we improve it? How do we make it better? A second 24-hour, 7 days a week dining hall would be one of them. A second that I've heard from just freshmen that I interact with, work with, etc., say that when they have only 15 minutes between classes, they don't have time to walk to Southside. Mm-hmm. So how do you handle that problem? So we're going to advocate for a grab-and-go option, or possibly some kind of takeout option, so you can just run through Southside real quickly, take it with you on your way to class. Simple things that are doable, that will translate in a better experience. And I also say to the freshmen who are mainly on the anytime dining, is that while this is the first year that they've been on it and it's the only meal plan that they've known, for us who have been here for a few years, with us being on it, the food and the quality of food has greatly improved here on campus. And I'm hopeful that over the next 2 or 3 years, as it's fully implemented, the food program here will just go through the roof, and we'll be one of those universities that you want to go to for the food program.
Jordan and I are not advocating for anything that we already haven't had a conversation about. We're very realistic about our goals and what we think that the university could achieve shortly.
Okay, and so we're on the subject of dining, and I'm sure both of you know that the Undersecretary of Dining was removed because of tweets he posted online. How do you feel has that changed your perspective of how student government should operate?
I don't think it has. Student government is governed outlined by governing documents. We have a code of student government, and Jordan and I believe in that code of the code of student government. When things happen, that's when it's time to look at the code and assess what the next step is. But I don't think it's changed our outlook on how student government is run.
Mm-hmm. Pete and I, and especially if elected under administration, we are going to be open and receptive to all opinions. However, the caveat to that is that they have to be said respectfully. And when that line is crossed as it going from opinion to disrespectful, that's when the code comes into effect. And that's what happened in this situation.
Okay. And so switching gears a little, you all want to establish a student-run emergency medical program, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so why do you think there's a need for that?
Jordan and I have both actually been in experiences where we have had to be rushed to the hospital from Mason.
Not together.
Separate.
Before we knew each other.
And I'm a type 1 diabetic. And I know that can be very time sensitive sometimes. And I had a meeting with a student who wanted to bring this to the university. It was very successful. I actually went to George Washington and watched their student-run EMS program. And this is something Mason could have. And I think it's not only beneficial for the students, but I think it's beneficial for the university as a whole, because we believe that over time that this could actually save the university money if run effectively.
Mm-hmm. And just to go forward with kind of something we've already touched on, is that Pete and I aren't promising anything that we can't deliver on. Yes, the EMS program would take a few years to implement, but we've already begun to have these conversations in the limited roles that we've been in, and we're already looking at possibly a pilot program this fall. It has vast support among the university. It's just figuring out the next steps, and that's part of the reason why we're running for president and vice president, so that we can put the might that these sort of programs need to improve the students' lives.
Okay. And you all also want to advocate for more communication with the police. And you also do meet, I believe, bi-weekly with the police, or it was weekly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In my current role, I meet bi-weekly with Chief Heath, who oversees all of the police department. He's a really great guy. He loves student government. He loves the students. And under his administration as police chief, we've seen a lot of strides to make the relationship better between the police department and the students. And so we want to continue that. He has asked student government to be a part of all the interviews, whether it's for just a regular police officer, detective, anyone. We've actually got interviews already scheduled for next week coming up for the new police interviews. Mm-hmm. And so that's the type of relationship we want to continue with. We want to continue to work with him in our safety app and our blue light system app, things like that, that's, again, improve the students' everyday lives.